This deep dive video is all about Noir De Carmes melons, a mini rare heirloom cantaloupe. We will start from seed and follow the entire growing season, covering growing highlights, cutting, tasting, reviewing, and seed saving, and a heavy focus on full slips and ripeness. Vertical gardening and trellis gardening are perfect for Noir De Carmes melons. But first, okay, Noir De Carmes. We are going to sow these a 1/2 inch deep, and they should germinate for us in 4 to 10 days. And I've got anywhere from 3 to 4 seeds in here. I'm just going to top them up with some more soil, water them, put them in the greenhouse. April 27th, look at how great our melons and our Peter Pan zucchini are doing back there. Excellent. Hey guys, it is May 15th. I am going to plant these Noir De Carmes, and look at the root system on this. I've got these 4. I'm gonna trellis them up. Okay, so to plant our melons, I've dug 2 holes that correspond with the stakes or the foot of the trellis. You can see that I really watered these holes. It's gonna sink down. And then once that water has sunk down, you're just gonna come in here and put your plants, get those laid out, and get them as deep as your plants are, because you want this to be level with your soil level. And I have some great soil in here. It's nice, it's loose, it's not compact. I was growing leaf mold in here. I've got grass, I'm constantly composting in place. So I have a very rich, well-draining, nutrient-dense soil. All right, guys, they are all in and set, and I went ahead and I watered them once again because I want to get them as acclimated as possible, as quickly as possible. Got pepper here so that the rabbits and the groundhogs will stay off. When they get about this size, they look like a little appetizing salad. We want to prevent them eating or nibbling on anything. These melons, we are going to need well-drained, loomy soil. You can top dress with some well-rotted manure or some compost. Your spacing should be 12 inches apart, and you can thin these if you're going to do this on grass. This is also getting into a little bit of a dangerous area as far as rabbits are concerned, because you can see they're wanting to vine. They're starting to move. They're not enough for me to start trellising up here, but they are attention getters for the rabbits. And you can see I've got some talc powder on there because rabbits don't like that. These are great for zone 4 and up, and of course these are annuals. 80 days to harvest this, you guys. And these melons are getting a little bit out of hand. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look for the longest vines, and I'm gonna start bringing them up the trellises. So I brought everything on the inside of this rung, and if it wasn't long enough, I hung it over the side so it will stay nice and suspended for us. You can have a little bit of gap here. It doesn't need to be tight. Remember, if you're doing something tight, you're not gonna get the airflow, and the bees aren't gonna be able to find all of these gorgeous little baby melons down here. Worried about premature slips when you're using a trellis, obviously it's going to take all of those vines off the ground. It's going to make it a little bit tidier for you. But if you're apprehensive about that, you can always use fabric such as a t-shirt sling or pantyhose. I have a watermelon video where I just used pantyhose to support my sugar baby watermelon that was on this same trellis. Worked great. All right, it is July 9th today. She's looking fantastic. She's up to the top. She's got lots of yellow flowers here. And these are either gonna have to be pollinated by hand or by the bees. Link a video of pollinating 4 different kinds of melons. And that way it's gonna give you the full details. You'll be a total expert by the end of it. Or you can choose not to hand pollinate and just let the bees do their own thing. Sometimes I hand pollinate. Last year I concentrated quite vigorously on it. And I actually did the sugar cube melon, full video on that as well. And I did them in these containers right here, which has the tomatoes. And if you can see, and I have them up on bricks, so if you can see, that's not a really big cage. They had very short vines. They would kind of flip over a little bit, but if you're wanting a melon that doesn't have these big long vines, I would recommend that you watch that video as well. And I will also link that. Today is July 20th and we're looking at this one dead in the center. She is an heirloom. She enjoys 8 to 10 hours of direct full sun. She loves 90-degree days. She is quite the beauty. All right, guys, it's July 21st. Look at that. Look at that. But more importantly, look at that. I have clipped these up. I probably should go ahead and punch this off right up here because I don't need to grow anymore. I need all the energy to, and really I should have done that with the scissors, but I need all the rest of the energy to pump everything into these melons that we already have, and it's doing a great job right here. And I seen another one, oh, right here. You can also see that I've got one here on the ground, which is very hot on that cement. And that little streak isn't doing so good. At some point, these are no longer gonna become picture perfect. You're gonna have to deal with some of the conditions and the heat that is going on. And a good way also to do that is just start clipping the ends so that you can push all of that energy into whatever is already happening within your melon. Oh, another one right here. So we want all of that concentration to be in there. We also don't want this so super thick that the bees cannot get in here and pollinate if you're not going to be doing your own hand pollinating. July 25th, look at that, and this, it's like this and like this and like that. As far as water, if she needs 1 to 2 inches of water per week, do not leave them waterlogged. How great that looks up there. Moist is key, not soaked or soggy. Water at the base in the morning, which is what I do. Reduce water once fruit begins to grow and keep leaves dry. Obviously, when it rains like that, you cannot control how much water is happening, and the leaves are completely wet right now. So sometimes for maintenance, in addition to clipping the ends, like I have done here, we also need to do some maintenance on some of these unhealthy and bad looking fruits. So I'm just going to cut this. Don't pull it. You don't want to stress the plant. Just cut it off. It is the 28th of July. I'm checking on my melons out here. See those two right there. Also discovered one down here. And I found another one right here. We'll see if this one becomes viable. And on the other side, look at that. I also did some maintenance and trimming right here. When you get to a certain point, like look at this one. Oh look, I have two. That's another reason why I chose to cut this and a third, because that's a whole lot of fruit production right here. I don't need the energy going past this point, and I know that this has come up at least to here. So let me step back so you can see how tall that really is. It would have had to come up here and then hang over a little bit. That's enough of a long vine. That's enough energy going through that vine. I really didn't feel like I needed to continue on and see if I could get any more on this vine than what is already here. And you know, it's all tangled in here. There might be another thing hanging onto this vine, I just don't know. This one here, I believe, is probably an offshoot. I don't see anything here on it. However, your offshoots do help with the sweetness of your melons, so you do want to keep that as well. Not worried about this little bit down here that's browning, because remember, your leaves on your melons at some point are going to brown because it's pulling all of that sweetness. Checking on her progress, she looks great. This one over here looks great. And I found another one. These two down here, looking super. You can actually prune these and remove all but 3 of the fruits or the flowers. Of course, that is going to be on one vine. When they are all set up like this, it's really hard to tell when they're jumbled up what vine and what fruit belongs to what vine. So clearly I did not do that. Also want to be checking daily to remove any damaged fruit and get that off. This one here has moved due to the weight. It is August 2nd. Looking at these melons, that looks great too. I had forgotten all about this one down here. Crazy. Look, they got these great ridges on them. They're going to be gorgeous. So it is August 4th. I'm checking on these melons, these two here, this one up here. The leaves are definitely starting to die down. And remember, I seen this one. There is another one back here. We do not want to plant next to pumpkins, squash, or cucumbers, because those are all big vining plants, just like we have here in melons. And big vines can result in big crowding and possible big issues. But look at that. Look at how our tendril here is starting to dry out a little bit at the tip here. There's no cracking yet. Oh, these are gonna be so nice. It's pulling all of its sweetness and juices from the vine now. Just getting ready for us. So how do we know when our melons are ripe? Well, number one, this greenish black rind is going to turn a yellow, usually within 24 to 48 hours. And the closest tendril to that melon is not completely dried out at this point. Also, cracks at the stem is what we're also looking for. And the smell, and I'm not seeing 100% of any of that yet, but it is definitely getting close. with the telltale signs of the cracking at the stem, and this tendril is starting to dry out. We've got just a little bit more here to go. So it is the next day. You can see how green this one is, and this one is now starting to lighten up. I can see just a little bit of yellow starting to begin right there. We already have the crack near the stem. Our tendril is getting more dried out. I can smell sweetness right here. We had a little bit of a rainstorm, so I went ahead and I tied it up in a plastic Kroger bag that I just cut the side and the bottom. And you can see she's starting to turn a little bit more yellowish in here. So I am gonna be checking her later tonight before lockdown, and then I'll check her again in the morning. Remember, it usually only takes 24 to 48 hours for this thing to fully ripen up. Go this way. There we go. Now normally I'm not using plastic to harness up the melons, but I could not find my knee highs, my pantyhose. Looking at Noir De Carmes, can you see that black streak right there? See that? Not a cut, it's just a coloration. You can also see that the color is starting to change a little bit there. It's starting to lighten up for us. Stay again. And look at this, look at how yellow this has gotten, almost white. You can tell through the Kroger bag how yellow that is, no longer green. Okay, so later the same day, look at this. Can you see this rusting and a little bit of what looks like it's starting to turn and maybe rot, and it smells so good right here. Let me see if it'll do a full slit for us. Nope. So I'm gonna water all of everything tomorrow. However, I will not be watering the melons, because remember, you want to restrict the water before you're going to pick your melons. Next day, it is the 17th, and I just took this out. There are more little rotten kind of looking spots on it. Smells sweeter. This is almost completely golden now. And I want to see if this will slip off easy or not. There's still some resistance here. So let's try later tonight. Okay, so taking this out of the bag for a minute, I did go at the bottom where the flower or the blossom originally was, and I can get that to spring in, cush in a little bit. It's a little bit of a soft spot down there. That's another sign that it is ready and that it is ripe. So the last thing that we're really waiting for is for this to slip off easily. The tendrils dried out, the color is here. I mean, there's no denying that the color is here. And you can smell the sweetness when you put your nose right up here to the connection point. There's no denying it. So now that I have it out, let me just see if I can just, now it has the weight on it. Okay, I'm gonna try this later tonight. Great, so it is 11 hours later, it's still the 17th. This has all the signs that it is done. Again, the closest tendrils completely dried out. When I pushed at the bottom, there's a little bit of push. At the connection point, I can smell how sweet it is. It just got done raining, so I had to come out here and take the water out of the bag. And when I moved it, all I could smell was sweetness. The color has changed. Another indication that it's ripe. And when I was out here moving it, look what happened. You see that? It's starting to come up. Okay, that's pretty easy. That's a pretty good full slip. Now, if I would have had both hands and been able to take the melon in both hands and just just twist, this would have came right off for us. Excellent. I'm gonna use 2 hands. I'm gonna take it inside. I'm gonna take this little eyesore down. Really smell it now that it's off of the connection point here. Guys, it is the next day. I can smell melon all throughout the kitchen all night long. It's fantastic. I am at the end, the bottom of this melon. And what I was talking about is when this here will have a little bit of a cush. So I'm gonna put my finger right in the middle, and it's gonna be ever so slight. It might not translate. See how this is moving right here? Just a little bit. That's it. Guys, it is August 19th, and I have 3 of these melons turning color on me. This one here will be the next one to be picked, and I can smell sweetness all around me right now. But we have some dimpling. We have some nice golden color change. It's not as golden as it needs to be. The closest tendril is right here, and it's only halfway dried out. This one down here is changing, gorgeous color for us, and so is this one. So the only one that's still dark is right here. Guys, I'm so pleased with these. These are doing so well, and the groundhogs didn't get any of them. Go ahead, and we're gonna cut this up. I did measure this, and from the bottom to the actual connection point is about 8 inches, going from here to here. I have got a strainer out, and we're going to collect these seeds because this definitely is an heirloom, and we definitely want more of those. We've got some dimpling. It's starting to rot. I swear I love a melon to where it's on the verge of being rotten here. This is an incredibly thin-skinned cantaloupe. This, I was also afraid with the groundhog and the raccoons that they could easily just get right through this rind. So I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna do my best one-handed. Looks great. It smells so good. Look how gorgeous this is. Now remember, when you do your full slip, that is it. It's not going to make this any sweeter. But when you pick it, it is locked in at the sugar content that you picked it at. All right, I've got some here. I've already tried it. It's a very light cantaloupe taste. And I have got the seeds. This was the first washing that I did. I put it over the running water, and then I'll just pick out all of the big chunks of the mushmelon segments. I'm gonna go through, I can still feel that they're very slimy. I'm gonna have to put these through the water maybe a couple more times, and then I will dry them. Oh, yep, very, very slimy. But listen, I did some really hard work. I was extremely patient, and I am going to enjoy all of this fantastic melon goodness right here. But first, I'm going to try one of these with you. I've salted it. It's very good. Very good. And I was very generous not to get the rind. And you can see, you can hardly see where the rind is at here. So it's an incredibly thin rind melon. Let's see if we can just peel this back. Yeah, see, this is why it would be so easy for a groundhog or a raccoon to pierce this. They really don't stand a chance. So please include your plan of action of how to keep them out of these delicious melons. To see how thin these strips are that I am peeling off of this melon. Okay, Next day, that dropped. This one dropped. So I have two down here that are ripe I'm gonna pick up. Okay, so I was out here doing a little bit of tomato leaf pruning and marigold pruning. And can you see where this is kind of lifting away here? And look at this golden color. I can smell it. Tendril. All the tendrils are dried up. It has the pitting. Yeah, I can push it in at the bottom. I'm gonna see if I can just take it so it doesn't fall in the middle of the night and the raccoons get it. So let's see what this does. Slipped off so easy. Excellent. Now you guys, I have got 3 in the refrigerator. All right, our seeds are completely dried out. The paper towel's dried out. That's right, we're in my refrigerator. Look at the cucumbers that I grew. Here is 2 of the Noir De Carmes melon. Here's the other one down here. Already ate one. There's one more left on the vine out there on that trellis. We've got some good Hilda Romano green beans. Here's those lady slipper tomato in the refrigerator. They're getting super duper, almost beyond ripe. I'm in the mood for a melon, so I'm gonna go ahead and I am gonna cut them up. Oh, these look so good, do they not? Look at this gorgeous little seed segmenting right here. Excellent. I got plenty of seeds already. I'm just gonna enjoy this light cantaloupe taste that Noir De Carmes has. Yeah, she's pretty good, isn't she? All right, all 3 of them all cut up. Are they not juicy and wonderful and thin-skinned and golden? Oh, they're gonna be so good. I couldn't resist. I already had myself a little bit of a bite. Here is all the seeds and the juices that came out of all 3. All right, guys, she's all done. She made a pretty good size container there. I've got all of her rinds that I'm going to go ahead and bury in place. And look at that, that's pretty fantastic. That's just that, and that was all 3 of them, guys. Guys, now let's look at the Pine Tree 2023 catalog at Noir De Carmes. 80 days for us to harvest. This is gonna germinate in 4 to 10 days. It's a French heirloom from 1787. Woohoo! A rare heirloom preserved by the Carmelite monks of France. And I do love almost anything that's French. Has deep, smooth ribs and skin so dark green that is almost black. Yeah, that's true. But ripens to a molten orange. I kept calling it golden. Aromatic flesh that is gently sweet. Grows 2 to 3 pound fruits. You get 20 seeds for $2.25. This little icon right here means that when you receive your packet, it's going to be this heathered mauve looking color here. This used to be 15 seeds, now it's 20. And you can see that it is certified organic. That's what that little symbol means there, organic. It's really hard to read. I do love Pine Tree because they give you so much information and they have lots of little coding in here. Let's go back to this part, gently sweet. Okay, what they're saying is this has a light cantaloupe taste, a delicate, a subtle cantaloupe taste to it. It's refreshing and it is light. It's August 25th today and this still has not turned for us. You can see we're starting to get the first signs of fall. with some of these leaves. I got an empty space, so I'm gonna cold compost in place and constantly be building up my nutrients here. It is the 28th of August and I just watered everything that needed it. This I have not watered. Once I started picking these ripe ones that were over here, I have not watered it. Because remember, you're going to dilute and wash out that sweetness in your melon if you do that. And look what's happening here. We're starting to get some color change. And this is the last big one. I just noticed this small one here. Ooh, I can smell it. So when this develops, it's either gonna drop for us, it might not drop, because it's pretty good and wedged in here. And it's not soft at the bottom. The tendril is dried out, but it is not fully golden for us yet. Hey guys, so I went to check the bottom of this, and you can see there is a little bit of a push in slightly, and that's what you're looking for. And when I did that, I just moved it like this so that I could look, and it was a complete full slip. So easy. I'm gonna pop it in the fridge now. Best one yet. I wolfed it down real quick. It was real juicy, a little bit more of an intense flavor with this one. It was so good. I thank you guys so much for watching. If you would like, comment, and subscribe, that would be outstanding. Otherwise, I will see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching, and I invite you again to subscribe, as I have been gardening for over 40 years and have a lot to teach, show, grow, review, experiment with, and my favorite, a specific variety everything deep dive. So let's try new things together, mix it up, and have a glorious day.